Hey guys, Spectral HD here, and today I have a guide for you on installing Wonderland Online Rhodes Island. A quick note before we get started is you need to be on Windows for this game to work. It will not work on Mac machines. However, I believe there's a program called Boot Camp that emulates Windows, and that will work. With that being said, we can hop right into it. So for step one, we're going to do some file structure setup. I'm a little bit of a freak to organization when it comes to my computer. I like to have things where I know where they are and easy to find. It may not look like it from my icons, but I promise you they're all categorized in a way. So let's get into this. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up a brand new file explorer. I have my game installed in my documents. I have an overall folder here called WLORI, and you don't have to do it the same way that I do it. It's just what I would recommend, and it's the way that I have mine set up. I also play some other games by the same company, so this is my folder overall for everything that has to do with this game or this company. So inside of this folder, what you should do is make another folder. And I named this one the name of the game, which is Wonderland Online Rhodes Island. And then inside of that folder, it's going to be empty for now. The other things that you see in this folder are either pertaining to the game in some way, or they are translation files. A quick note about translation is you're gonna have to do this every week. The reason being is because the game updates on Wednesday night / Thursday morning relative to China's time zone. I'm in Eastern Standard Time Zone. So for me, the game resets every day at 12 p.m., which is midnight for China. The updates take place around maintenance, and maintenance occurs throughout the week, but update day is usually Wednesday. 90% of the time they update the game, they're not actually adding content all of the time. They are just rotating the limited packs that are in the game's item mall shop, because they have rotating packs that come in and stay for a week at a time. So that way the game has a flowing set of items that you can get. The reason that a new translation has to be made every week is because when they update, they change things in the data folder of the game. So a new one has to be made to incorporate and change everything back. And you'll see this later when I show you how this is going to work. But for now, I just wanted you to be aware of that, and that's why this is set up the way it is. So again, we have an overall folder for everything related to this game, and then inside this folder we have another folder which is going to house everything that is the game. This folder is literally the game. Like I said, you don't have to do it this way. It's just how I like to do it, and I think it'll be more simple for you to follow this structure, so that way you don't get confused. On to step 2, which is actually downloading the game. All the links will be in the description for things, and I will include a link to the description of this webpage, as well as a Discord for the general English player-based community of the game. And that Discord is the same place you're going to get weekly translation updates, as well as, you know, interact with the community. It's very big on Discord. If you don't use Discord, you should probably get into it. So let's go download the game. The first thing you're going to notice about this website is that it's all in Chinese. Don't panic. This is the button that you need right here. It's right here on the main page. You're just going to click on this, and it's going to ask you to download. Yours might download automatically. I have my web browser set up to ask me where I want to save everything. Yours, if you do not have that, will be in your downloads folder. So I will just save mine in the downloads folder to make this easy. And although I'm not reinstalling the game, I can show you how this is going to work too, because everything's going to be in Chinese. don't worry about it. So after you have it downloaded, it's going to be, depending on your browser, it can be here or it'll be in your folder. So we pull up and we'll go to the downloads folder on your computer's file system. And this is the application right here. We're just going to double click to run this. Proc your antivirus with a red flag. Don't worry about it. The game, it's perfectly fine. It's just the nature of these games. So notice this is all in Chinese. As I said, you can install this kind of wherever you want. I just like things to be organized. That's why we made the file system in step 1, well, the file structure. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, you see this button right here, beside where this is where it's going to install the game. You're going to click this button and you're going to go find that file. So for me, it was in documents, and then WLORI, and then the folder inside there that we made for the game itself, which is Wonderland Online Rhodes Island. If you're doing it the same way I am, you're going to click that, you're going to click OK, and there you go. That's what you're looking for. So after that, you're going to click this button right here on the left, not the right, the left, and that will start installing for you. If I'm wrong, there will be something on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it's the left button. I'm not going to click it because I already have the game installed. The other thing of note here is that the game will take a little bit of time. If this program says it stops responding, just let it be. Don't try to restart it or anything. It will get done eventually. It probably depends on your computer speed, but just take my word for it. I have a pretty beefy PC and the game is old. It comes down to the game is old and kind of held together by sticks and glue and duct tape. But we still love it, which is why we still play. Pull this up for you automatically. If not, your Wonderland Online Rhode Island folder where the game is installed should look something like this, with all these things in here. You are going to want to run this file called main.exe. We're going to open that up. It's going to ask you if you actually want to run it. You're going to click yes, and now you're going to be, or have already been, looking at this screen. You're going to hit this button on the very left here. This says enter game when it's translated, and this is going to come up right here. You're going to click, it doesn't really matter which one of these you click. I have the middle one selected. You can do whatever one you want. Click the middle. Now when yours comes up, you're going to see a bunch of things here, right? This is files that need to be installed. The bottom is files that have been installed. As you can see, this says no files updating needed, or yours might be in Chinese. I have a partially translated game. It's kind of weird how it works, but I will show you what it looks like actually, because this middle button right here is called force update. And this is asking you if you want to force update. Left is yes, right is no. I'm going to click yes. It's going to close. I'm going to reopen it. Click enter game, click OK. And look at that. Mine looks exactly like yours now, or at least very, very close to it, right? So after this point, we're going to click the leftmost button to go. Again, this might make it so it says it's not responding. Don't worry about it. It's going to go. I think mine's going to say not responding here any second. Yep, there it is. Not responding. It's going to finish. Just let it finish. And we'll see you when it finishes. Okay, so we finished up now. As you can see, it actually finished and went through. All these files have been installed. It says 0 remain to be updated. Now we can click the leftmost button again. we get this agreement form that is all in Chinese. Don't worry about it. We're going to click the leftmost button again. Bringing you this quick interruption because I realized I forgot about something. So the first time that you get to this screen right here, you're going to click the left button like it says, or it's going to say, and you're going to get an error. Let's fix that error real quick. The reason you're getting that error is because this game's old and we're on new operating systems, whether you're on 8 for whatever reason, 10, I'm on Windows 10 or 11, I don't care, whatever you're on. New operating system, old game, they don't play together well. So here's what we're going to do to fix it. This right here are the steps. I'm going to go through them, but just in case you want to pause and go through them yourself, hopefully you can read them. I know it's kind of small. Oh, here we go. There you go. That's better. Now you can pause if you want and go through it, or you can just wait for me. So let's do this real quick. We're going to go find our game. So right click on A login properties. Right click, go to properties. We're going to go to compatibility. You're going to want to click the run this program in compatibility mode, and you're going to select Windows 7. You're going to click reduced color mode. You're going to select 16-bit color. I have 8-bit. I don't remember why. Just do the 16-bit. You're going to make sure you're running as an administrator. You're going to click apply, and you're going to click OK. Then you will be able to get past this screen right here. You'll click the left button, and this will come up just like that. You'll click next. The game starts, and there you go. Now you can continue on. And now this screen usually has some sort of promotion that they're doing, or something of the like. Yeah, there it comes up. So this is usually what consumption event is in. We have a next button, and now we have the music that starts in, and we have our server list. And this is where you would log into your account. This means that we're good to go. The game is installed and you could technically play now. The thing I'm not going over in this video is how to make an account. The first thing that we're going to want to do now is start getting into translating the game. So you can see right here in all these channels over here, we have a section called WLO and a channel called Translation Project. This is where all the translation files get posted every week. As you can see, for me it is actually it's Friday today. The translations came out yesterday for the update on Wednesday, and you can see that there's only 2 of them. However, if this is your first time updating, we're gonna need to grab both of these as well as this one, which is menu.zip, and we're gonna do this as well. The reason that not everything needs updated again is because the menu buttons or the menu.zip take care of like the menu buttons in the UI of the screen, and those don't always need changed or don't always get changed. It really depends on what in the game gets updated. You just have to pay attention to when these messages are posted to know what you will need to grab. Generally, it's just a new data folder and a new login, but just pay attention to the dates of the Discord messages. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to translate the server list, which you can do with server.ini right here. This is an ini file or a configuration file if you're a nerd like me. Double click to open. If yours doesn't open, it might ask you what to open with. You can just open with Notepad. As you can see, this is Chinese. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the server.ini file right here, and we can just save that in downloads. That makes things easy. So now we're going to go to the downloads folder. Actually, we'll open a new one. Downloads. We're going to open the one in the downloads folder, and then we're going to open the one in the game folder. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of this to the other side. And we're going to click save. Then we're going to close it. Now, when we go back to the server selection, that's going to be translated to English, so it'll be easier to read. You don't have to do this if you don't want, but I just wanted to show you that it's there. And now we're going to need the other things to make the game more playable. And by more playable, I mean at least you'll be able to read most of what you're doing. Keep in note, the game isn't fully translated, but it's mostly translated. There are some things that aren't. It's because everyone who is doing a translation does them by volunteer. They're not getting paid. We just have a passion for the game and we like to play. And we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. So now we're going to download menu.zip. Here it is. Click the little download button. It comes up. Now, again, yours might download automatically. If it does, it'll be in the downloads folder. If you have your computer set up like mine, where it asks me where I want to download the things, anything that I ask my web browser to download, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go find our WLORI folder, our overall folder, and outside of the game folder, we're just doing the overall folder. We're going to save this in there. I already have it here, so it's going to ask me to replace. We're going to click yes. It's going to replace. Don't need this open anymore. And now, for the process that you're going to do every week, we're going to open a new file explorer. We're going to have two open. We're going to go to our folder. And now we're going to find our menu.zip that we just downloaded. Yours will probably be the only other one here. We're going to open with WinRAR. I have WinRAR, maybe you have 7-zip. You just need to open it with something. And in here is a folder called menu. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this folder. We're going to drag it over here. Notice how I'm not highlighting any of these folders. I'm just putting it off to the side. Because if you highlight, like let's say I have the data folder highlighted. If I were to let go of my click right now, it would place the menu folder inside this folder, and that's not what we're looking to do. If you do that, your game's not going to be translated correctly. So keep that in mind when you're copying and pasting the folders. I'm just going to drag and let go over here. And it's going to move the items. And it might take a minute. Now it's going to ask me if I want to replace files because they have some of the same names. We're going to click yes, replace all the files in the destination. That's done. We can close this out now. And now these are all going to be translated. And that's the basic process that you're going to do every week. For the next part, we're going to go back to the Discord. We're going to keep going down the list. This is an old one. We're going to skip over this. We're going to go down to alogin.exe. We're going to download this. We're just going to go straight into here. Now you can save this in the overall folder if you want. This is actually the main application of the game, and I will show you this in a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into our overall folder, and we're going to save, and yes, we want to replace. Now I already have mine on my desktop. As you can see, it's right down here in the bottom left corner. If you want this, what you're going to want to do is you go into your game folder and you're going to find alogin.exe, right click it, send to desktop, and it'll create a shortcut on your desktop for you. Otherwise, you're going to have to launch through main.exe every time, and which I can do that. And even though there is nothing for me to update right now, I have to go through those screens. An easier way of doing this, as soon as this loads, I'm going to close it out again, is if you send this to your desktop and make a shortcut to it, you can just click directly on that. This won't show up every time. This only shows up the first time. You're going to click yes, and then you're already to the screen. You skip over that main screen and go directly to the game, which is just a little tip and trick for you. So the last thing we need to grab is the data folder. So let's go ahead and grab that. I'm going to save this where we saved menu.zip. We'll just save it in there. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did with menu.zip. So we have menu.zip, data.zip. We're going to open the archive of data.zip. And again, we have the data folder in here. We're going to take this data folder. We're going to drag it over to the right. We're going to replace the files in the destination. And there we go. Now our game is fully translated and ready to go. If at some point you ran into a problem and your game isn't working correctly for some reason, or it's broken in some way, what you can do is you can go to main.exe and open that. And then we're going to click the left button, continue. And then when you get to this screen, instead of going into the game, you're going to click this middle button here. And then you're going to click the left button on the update, and that's going to force the update. And what that means is it's going to update like you've just installed it again, and then you'll have to redo the translation process. Here we have the game. You can't really make it bigger. This is just how it is. Maybe if you're on a smaller screen, it'll take up more of the screen. I know things are hard to read because you're going to be looking at my whole screen and it's going to be downscaled a little bit and video quality, yada yada, but here we are in game, and here you might be able to tell that things are in English. So if you're not in English here, sorry. As I said, some things aren't translated, like this mumbo jumbo in the chat here, and some other things up here in the top right. This is the item shop. The name for it on the menu isn't translated, but everything inside is. So good to go. Enjoy, guys.